We spend years searching for our person. But what if the secret to lasting love has nothing to do with whom we found? What if the real test of love begins precisely when infatuation fades? In the beginning, everything seems to happen almost effortlessly. We want to talk all night, be together constantly, know everything about the other person. And then, with time, things change. The mystery becomes familiar. Short-term relationships can often feel like a quick source of pleasure, bright, intense, easy. Long-term relationships are something else entirely. Like a slower, deeper kind of dopamine and much harder to attain. You can't get them instantly. They require time, patience, effort, and a willingness to go through difficulties together. They are built over years from trust, intimacy, shared memories, crises you've survived together, and hundreds of small decisions to stay. And perhaps that's why deep love isn't available to everyone. Not because it can't be found, but because its true price is too high for those who want pleasure immediately. But what if the real issue isn't how much time two people spend together, but what their relationship becomes over time? In a 20-year longitudinal study of 2,268 people, researchers found that relationships that eventually ended already had lower levels of satisfaction, along with a more pronounced decline in satisfaction over time. But a change in feelings does not necessarily mean the end of love. What matters is where the relationship is heading. Does calmness become intimacy or indifference? Does familiarity become security or boredom? And this is where one of the most important factors studied in relationship psychology comes in: perceived partner responsiveness. The feeling that you are understood, accepted, and heard. Imagine telling the person beside you, "I had a terrible day." They answer, "So did I." Now imagine a different response. "I can see you're having a hard time. What happened?" Just a few words, and yet the emotional experience is completely different. My feelings matter. Research on young couples has shown that more responsive reactions to a partner's everyday stress are associated with higher relationship quality and may help protect relationships from declining over time. And this is where love begins to look like more than just a feeling. Increasingly, science looks at love through how people treat each other every day. An analysis of 43 longitudinal data sets involving 11,196 couples found that relationship quality was particularly associated with factors such as perceived partner commitment, appreciation, sexual satisfaction, conflict, and overall relationship satisfaction. This is not a formula for everlasting love, but it does point to an important shift. Relationships are shaped to a large extent by what happens between us. Relationship skills can also be developed. A meta-analysis of 117 studies found improvements in relationship quality and communication following specialized programs for couples. Erich Fromm, a German sociologist and philosopher, wrote that love requires not only feeling but also care, responsibility, respect, and knowledge of another person. Perhaps we are mistaken when we think that we first need to find love and then everything will simply fall into place. Infatuation can happen to us, but lasting love has to be created. And that makes the central question of our film even more interesting. What exactly allows two people to remain close after years when chemistry alone is no longer enough? When infatuation fades, relationships are no longer tested by the intensity of our feelings, but by how people treat each other every day. And research points to several particularly important factors. The first is the feeling, I am seen. Psychologists call this perceived partner responsiveness, when your partner understands you, accepts you, and genuinely responds to what matters to you. This kind of responsiveness is associated with greater intimacy and relationship satisfaction. The second factor is the feeling, I am chosen. This is commitment, a commitment to the relationship, not simply saying, I love you, but being willing to invest your time, attention, and energy even when things are no longer as easy as they were in the beginning. Research shows that when people notice and value their partner's investments in the relationship, it can strengthen their gratitude and their own commitment. The third factor is, I am valued. Gratitude is especially interesting here. In a longitudinal study of married couples, people who felt more appreciated by their partners became more grateful and more responsive themselves and were more committed to maintaining the relationship. And gratitude is not just a routine thank you. One study found that it was associated with a greater willingness to openly discuss problems in the relationship, potentially creating a greater sense of safety even during difficult conversations. But there is something else that is very easy to lose over the years: interest in each other. Do you still know what is on your partner's mind? What do they want? What are they afraid of? What makes them happy? What do they dream about? And most importantly, who have they become over the years? because the person you met 10 years ago is no longer the same person standing in front of you today, and neither are you. So, lasting relationships require more than remembering who your partner used to be. They require continuing to discover who they are becoming. And inevitably, there will be moments when you no longer understand each other. There will be arguments, hurt, and frustration. But the question is not whether you have conflicts. The real question is, do you know how to find your way back to each other after one? In relationship psychology, this is called repair, restoring the connection. And it doesn't require a perfect conversation. Sometimes it's enough to say, I was wrong. I'm too angry right now. Let's come back to this later. I understand why that hurt you. Let's try again. That's why lasting relationships are not relationships without conflict or crisis. They are relationships in which two people know how to move through those moments without losing each other. Again and again, the same thing happens. I am seen, I am chosen, I am valued. And even after a conflict, we can still find our way back to each other. But if these are the things that keep love alive, a more uncomfortable question arises. What happens when we start doing the opposite? But if we know what helps relationships last, why do people still lose each other? Often not because of one major event. Relationships can unravel much more quietly through recurring patterns of behavior. In the research of John Gottman and Robert Levinson, 4 particularly destructive patterns received special attention: criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and emotional withdrawal. The difference can come down to just a few words. It hurts me when you're late again is about an action. You can never be relied on is an attack on the person. Why did I ever marry you is contempt. You started it, it's not my fault is defensiveness. And silence, walking away, or refusing to engage emotionally is withdrawal. These patterns matter not because every argument is dangerous. In fact, conflict itself does not mean a relationship is doomed. Researchers followed more than 3,400 couples and found a simple pattern. The more conflict and emotional withdrawal there is, the worse the relationship becomes. And the worse the relationship becomes, the more conflict emerges. So, the most important question after an argument isn't who won, it's were we able to find our way back to each other? In relationship psychology, this is called repair, restoring the connection. Sometimes it can be as simple as saying, I went too far. I'm too angry right now. Let's talk about this later. I understand why that hurt you. But there is another danger. When conflicts almost disappear because the effort to be close has disappeared too. People continue living together, but they stop sharing what is happening inside them. They stop asking, they stop being curious, they stop sharing. From the outside, it looks like stability. Inside, there is loneliness. And this is where we need to distinguish the absence of conflict from the presence of intimacy. Silence does not always mean peace. Sometimes it means people have stopped trying to reach each other. Another problem is when a relationship gradually causes a person to lose themselves. A healthy partnership does not require giving up your friends, interests, goals, or personal space. Closeness and autonomy are not opposites. In fact, maintaining a life of your own can help support the quality of a relationship. And finally, there is one factor we cannot soften. A relationship requires two people to participate. Research on commitment shows that the willingness to sustain a relationship matters most when it is shared by both partners. If one person is constantly talking, changing, looking for solutions, and initiating closeness, while the other stops investing, no communication technique can create mutuality. And this leads to one of the most painful conclusions of our film. You can lose love not only because of betrayal or some great tragedy, you can lose it through small, everyday refusals to truly meet each other. You didn't listen, you didn't ask, you didn't notice, you didn't appreciate, you didn't come back after the argument, you stopped being curious. At first, these things seem insignificant. They still sleep in the same bed, eat at the same table, live in the same house. Their bodies are still close, but a silence begins to grow between their inner worlds. They no longer meet each other on the inside. Can we learn to build relationships, or is everything determined by chemistry, compatibility, and luck? Science says partly yes. A meta-analysis of 117 studies found that relationship programs can improve relationship quality and communication. That means some of these skills can actually be developed. Learning to express your needs without attacking, to listen without becoming defensive, to notice your partner's contribution, to return to a conversation after a conflict, and to ask for closeness rather than demand it. But there is another skill we rarely talk about. Continuing to discover the person you already think you know. Because 10, 20, or 30 years from now, the person beside you will no longer be the same person you once met, and neither will you. Long-term relationships are not about trying to preserve love exactly as it was in the beginning. They are about the ability to discover each other again and again. But no technique can create something that only one person is willing to build. A relationship cannot be created by one person alone. If one person is constantly listening, changing, apologizing, and trying to preserve closeness while the other no longer wants to participate, there can be no mutuality. So perhaps the most important question in a long-term relationship is not, do we love each other? But are we still choosing each other through our actions? Not every day will be romantic. Sometimes love is a cup of coffee for someone who didn't sleep well. Sometimes it's putting your phone away when they want to tell you something. Sometimes it's coming back to the conversation after an argument, and sometimes it's just a few simple words. I can see you're having a hard time. I'm here. And perhaps this is the central conclusion of our film. Lasting love is not sustained by one great secret, but by countless small acts: intimacy, commitment, appreciation, respect, attention, and the ability to find your way back to each other after pain. Because love can be found by chance, but for it to endure, it has to be created again and again. And one day, decades later, you may realize that true love is not about nothing ever changing. It is about almost everything changing and still looking at each other and seeing the person you want to choose again. And then the answer to the question, what makes love last, becomes very simple. I see you. You still matter to me, and I still choose to be here.